Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this symposium, which is co-organized by the Australian Society for Medical Anthropology and our department, the Affective Psychology Department of Utrecht University. This symposium is on altered states of consciousness, alternate realities and rituals. My name is Katalin Varga. And let me introduce to you our distinguished speakers in that order. Dagmar Einer, I will introduce her before her talk a bit more detailed way. Then Günther Fleck in the middle. And our first speaker, Barbara, who is a very interesting person in terms of her background, Barbara Wilhelmi. She has an academic diploma on many fields, like theology, philosophy, empirical cultural sciences, and also graduated in art and art therapy and as a psychotherapy. And currently she's working at the clinics of rehabilitation. And just to pick some interesting details from her biography, she's a member of the International Society for Academic Research on Shamanism, which is kind of a common point in this symposium. Barbara is widely publishing on these fields, and as an artist herself, she has several art projects as well. So today we will listen to her talk on paintings for the soul, art therapy with patients in rehabilitation clinics. And as you are very much accustomed to that, you are welcome to have your questions, remarks, sharing your experiences at the end of the lecture. So we will reserve some time for that type of discussion. Okay? So Barbara, please.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and good morning to you all. Painting for the soul. Art therapy with patients in rehabilitation clinics. That is my theme I choose. And we could ask, what is the connection between altered states of consciousness and the alternate realities in art and art therapy? It's a communication between the internal view. The inner and outer images are important. The art viewer and the painter and the paintings. There are different levels of languages. In summer, the communication that is very important in this process. The question is there a link between a disease experience of the patients in the clinics and their painted pictures? And this is my main topic. The question, can we recognize special motifs in the paintings of the patients, which we can ask, what does the life experience had been that promote that way of painting? Now we regard back in the history. Early forms of receptive art therapy can be observed in monasteries and churches. There are two types of art therapy. One is a receptive, that I regard to a picture or a painted picture or art object and what may happen inside in me. And to the other form of art therapy we will come later. The meditative and contemplative view is not about an analytical consideration of images. Art itself can unfold and develop without controlled effects on. or better, with the viewers. This approach is important for art therapy. Paintings in churches and monasteries cure through their existence and in the receptive form of contemplation. This example is Matthias Grünewald, a painter from the 16th century, and it's very famous. He is very famous because he painted the Isenheimer altar, that is one table of it, of the Antoniter Order, now in Colmar, France. And we know that the Antonites in Colmar took up the people who suffered from the diseases. It had been the Antonius fire that was in the Middle Age common disease of the wheat. I don't know what is the real name. Antonius fire we call it, but it's a disease which occur after eating a wrong black wheat point. Part of the treatment was a contemplation of the altars, which promotes the healing. It was not only that they thought that the healing suggests by Jesus Christ coming out of the death valley to heal you, it was to the art painting. Healing effects of paintings and rooms. Now on the left you see the Domitilla catacomb in Rome. That were 2 healing rooms, and the other had been a Kabbalistic table now in Bad Teinach in Germany. Paintings for healing, rooms with effects. Artistic forms of expression in fields of visual or acoustic art have healing effects. Communication between medical specialists and patients takes place at different levels. There are not only verbal forms in a process between the painters and the therapists, but also non-verbal processes via gestures, sounds, moods, sharing the inner and outer images. Healing effects of art can be experienced and used differently. Besides the receptive art impressions, which I had mentioned, too, an active form exists, the creative artistic expression. Basically, we can distinguish the analytical method of art therapy from the free artistic. That means in the analytical method, you try to find out what is wrong with a person through the painting, and you analyze in their depression or something else. But this is not my direction. I will show you a diverse form. Improve the state of health via art therapy. Creative art expression can be used for patients in clinics. The last paintings had been that of my patient during the process. But now I will have some theory. I do not know if you know Aaron Antonovsky. He is famous for the term Salutogenesis. And he asked not what are the reasons for the illness in a bad way, what makes you ill, but he asked which factors keep a person healthy. And he did that research after the Second World War, after the Holocaust, that he asked people in Israel, why do you suffer more under that what you had experienced and the other not? What makes people health which had experienced the same that other make ill? And he found some factors, and he said if a person gained to have more resilience, then the person had the chance to keep healthy. The health concept of Aaron Antonovsky asks what factors keep people healthy. The central term is resilience, optimism, acceptance of the crisis, orientation toward the solutions, leaving the victim's role, taking responsibility for one's life, building new networks, replanning the futures. And these are aims for patients in clinics for rehabilitation, because they had bad experience in a clinic, heart attacks, cancer, and so on. And now in the rehabilitation, they tried to look forward, to gain hope, to have the desire to be healthy. And therefore, there are some factors, especially optimism, to have to work on it. Optimism includes the fact to learn that something good can also emerge from a crisis in the future. And the question is, for me, how can this be communicated? I cannot say, oh, you have to be optimist. You should do so, and they do not feel, or they have no first step to start to optimism. How can the inside and the soul comment to this? Painting in rehabilitation clinic with cardiological diseases. This is one of the last painting, and I choose it to bring it here because you can feel after some regardings of the pictures what may be the difference between the patients of the cardiological diseases and the oncological diseases. If you have some words that come in your mind, you regard the red, I think. It may be a little bit of a heart, a center. You see a center. But without going in an analyze, it's more than you can feel what this picture tells. Communication between inner and outer images of art creating. Healing communication on health matters that involves all the senses and includes soul, mind, body, containing anthropological aspects of individuality, social communication, and creativity. One of the health concepts is find the new way of life in hope. And now I will give an example how to come on this way. After welcome and introduction follows a meditation with a look inside and the sensory experience of hands, because I would like that they are sensible to what they see, what they hear, what they feel while painting. Not to have a picture in mind, which I want to design to paint a tree. That is too much here, and they do not express themselves what is the situation of mine. What could happen? Become calm, opening of the mind, awareness of the presence, sensibility, internal view. It's not about a guided meditation as we know it from the catathymical pictoral experience after Leuna. Leuna invites to a journey. He said, close the eye, and then we are walking on a meadow, and there is a little river, and what are you decide to do? That is another meditation. And to have a look, only a glimpse to what it is, I would like to invite 3 brave persons who will make a little exercise. It's without pain, and you need not to paint. I need 3 persons, and after they tell what they experienced. Who would like? No, too early in the morning. Yes, wonderful. And another brave is only to have 2 other. Yes, come, please. Yes. And afterwards you tell what you experienced. No one else? Ja, okay. Du wolltest mitmachen. Ja. Wonderful. Yes. 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 Please sit down with your both feet on the floor. And the hands on the Oberschenkel, I don't know, the legs. And please close your eyes and keep your breath inside and outside your body, your lungs, so as you feel well. And in your mind, perhaps with the closed eyes, you see a color. You see a color. And you let the color, so as you see it, maybe it changes. And now we say goodbye to our inner image, and we return to our hands, and with these hands, you will paint afterwards. And I beg you to bring your hands together, the inside of the hands, you raise it up, your hands, and you cover the inside of the hand, and you feel the top of your fingers. You feel the top of your fingers. And your hands, are they big or warm? Are they cold, small? How do you experience your hands? And then please put the hands on the sheet before you with closed eyes, and you feel the surface of the sheet. With both hands and closed eyes, you feel the surface of the sheets, where you can paint afterwards, and you explore the sheet, the size, the room of the whole sheet. And you seek for the one hand and the other, for the right and the left, a place where you feel good, where you feel, oh, when there is that hand and the other, I have good experience, I feel good. And then you can take this feeling a little bit, enjoy it, and your breath come in and out. And when you have enough, you can take once again your hands up in the position of the inside covered hands, that you again put your inside together of the hands, yes. And then you move your hand a little bit with pressure, and though that it comes more energy and blood into a washing movement, we say, and you can open your eyes, but you move your hands with pressure, with more, yes, like, moment. And you have your, okay. And you come again. So now I would like to hear what they experience. You saw a little bit how they act with closed eyes, and now I would like to hear if there's something interesting. What do you experience while, yes, all in summer?
The sheet, and I imagine it as a surface where I will have to project or to put what I have seen.
And what's about the size?
It felt bigger than, it felt larger, bigger
yes,
than.
It was larger.
Yeah.
Yes.
I felt the same, that it is bigger, and I felt that it is bigger than also the table. I had to go that way and things like that, and it was so intense to feel the difference between my thumbs and my skin and between the sheet, and it was like water and the ground, the difference maybe.
Thank you.
So I only can tell you what I experienced. I'm not sure if I have understood the instructions in the same way as you have meant them.
Yeah.
But when you have given the instruction to imagine a color and then something else, I imagined a landscape, a more or less romantic landscape with ruins and so on. And what happened when I have touched this here, my image went from inside on the surface of this paper here. Yes. And so one thing what has disturbed me was this Picken, dieses leicht pickige. Das klebt so irgendwie.
Yeah.
This was a bit disturbing for me.
Yes. Because we normally have painting cartons. It's not our painting paper, and thank you very much. What is interesting is that our eyes had another impression of that paper, of the extensions of the room you can use, than the experience with closed eyes. The sense of the hands are very different to that what we see. We always see it in a smaller way. And we do not we always think that what we see is reality. But the reality is too the impression to have big size sheet. And I cannot translate it in English. Kannst du besser Englisch als ich? My example always is, if you do a bakery and you need Mandeln, Mandorla, almonds, yeah, almonds. Thank you. Almonds, and you need to spell it, to expel it. And you take hot water and you see the mandolas, and you could not recognize which is without or which is still in the brown hout cover. But one touch, you immediately know which is the one without, or so the touch has more reality than your eyes. And for the painting with the patients, he told about what he feel inside, and to go in contact with your soul, with your experience. It is very important to have this introspection, not to analyze or to have a special way, but only to have other realities, of contact with your sensual life. Thank you. Perhaps we could talk what you had seen, but I am looking on my watch. And this is one of the picture of former time. That was my old atelier in the oncological clinic, and I want to tell you that it's very important that they are sitting in a nest, not like you here and here, because this process is so deep and so sensual, and they have to be in neighborhood, and they have to be together, sharing the experience. Feelings and words are available to the others. That is an important social component of art therapy. Now, one input of theory. In his famous essay on language as such and on the language of man, Walter Benjamin explains the philosophical understanding of language. Every expression of human can be interpreted as a kind of language. Benjamin refers on forms and types of art as movements of mind and soul, as a kind of language. Gadamer is another famous philosopher of the phenomenological philosophy. The language is important in phenomenological art therapy. Gadamer's main term, being that can be understood, is language. It's not so good translation in English because he wrote in German, Sein, das verstanden werden kann, ist Sprache. And the main book from Gadamer is Wahrheit und Methode, Tübingen 1960. And he said that it's necessary to have a language to feel the being, to be in contact, to understood the being. Finding visual language is important for the experience of life, reality, and future. The encounter with the pictures, sharing the impressions and the feelings, give the other person my words. That is the sharing. No interpretation, and the subjective character. What I see in your painting has something to do with me and my story. It's not that I can say, oh, I believe you are a very depressive person. That would be nothing. But when I feel my own depression in another painting, I can share it and ask, perhaps, if that is to the opinion of the other. That is one of the paintings, and that are the sentence the patient said to it. An eye that goes out and looks at one, what's going on out there, it flows in motion. There is a resting place, but it flows. I can see a chameleon. I have seen a swirl in meditation, which turns in vibrations. The orange has been quiet. I try to get the cows calm, in the cows to be calm. The last 3 sentences had been of the painter. Giving the soul space and time to communicate, expressing my feelings by painting pictures is already salutary. Process to find yourself and to the others. Identity and salutary. Now it is very impressive that the cardiac patients have other aims than the oncological patients. Finding the path of life, important for cardiac patients after loss of the center, shocking anxiety experience after myocardial infarction, and the experience of finitude. While oncological patients try to find life again after the weeks of taking killing medication in chemotherapy. Art therapy process with patients with oncological and cardiac disease experience have other diverse pictorial language, symbols, and images. The subjects in paintings, which the painters themselves named, that's not me, that they said to her own paintings, oh, there is a swirl, a strudel, a swirl. And they add, I have to find my way out, I have to find the way to. Or they paint the volcano, the exploding of. There's something, there's an explosion in me or around me. And very often they tried to paint light colors, not dark, avoiding the darkness. Could they be traced back to the current illness situation and the current life situation? One example, The volcano explodes. I am angry when I give too much. I've made a stop on the border below. The light flows out of the blue, surprisingly. The words of the painter. That example, light at the end of the tunnel. In the cardiac clinic, patients have experience of weakness in the oncological clinic. Search for beautiful moments, new landscapes and rooms they paint. They avoid the dark. Try to find hope again. To take hand the living thread again. And in the cardiac clinic, patients have experience of suddenness of life danger after heart attack. See their wrong way of life, of lifestyle, stress, burnout. And they try to find the right way, the structure in life. And they mourn about the loss of the center. Where is my time, or where is the time? That are often examples, or they are often symbols in the paintings. This is one typical cardiac painting with the center in red, and there came these words, fire. What a fire. Very open fire. What's going on? The comments of the others. A heart, so completely red. An injured soul, pain, grief. Then the question to the painter, what do you associate? His answer, 4 weeks ago something happened. That's what is supposed to be, burning. And afterwards he told he had a pain experience, extremely pain experience. Another person, it's going up a road with color trees that slowly change color. In autumn, it can also be very beautiful in autumn, the age. Even if you are old, you can experience something great. Do not allow depression in the autumn. The painter, I drive down a street every day, seeing beautiful trees on the right and left. Then I must be careful not to let go of the steering wheel. The curtain has opened slightly. You go into a colorful life, still somewhat wobbly. It is a spiritual curtain in purple. It is still closed. It cannot be opened in the middle. The red thread. Now, at last, the exhibition at the end, where we have that speaking with the paintings. What does the picture tell to me? Speaking without judgment and appreciation in a poetic language. Avoiding to speak about intentions of the others. I see that you would paint that, will say that with this picture. That is not allowed. But to speak with a picture, to give some words to the others. I write down what has been said, and afterwards I read it, and then it becomes a poem when it is read out in full by the therapist at the end of the session. A media change from painting to poem, for me, that's a soul language. This is an example, end of a ballad. Powerful, there's a lot of power in it. The center, He is on the path. You can still get there, looking for the straight way. The dragon floats around and changes to the wind. Am I this today and another tomorrow? Or I am both at the same time? Who am I? And where do I come from? Harmony, free. I go into the sunflower field, run through and enjoy. Die güldene Sonne voll Freude und Wonne. The disease slow you down. Sunflowers are my favorite. The clouds are enough now. The storm is over. Thank you very much.